good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of our listeners here at the A&E podcast. Today, starting off the intro seduction, is going to be your friendly local dinosaur man, Big Tim. And sitting next to me is our great friend, our normal host, our enthusiast, our creationist, our visionist, our inspiration, Jay Bones. Jay Bones, welcome to the show.
Yo, here we are, guys, breaking it down again. We got Andor episode 8, breakdown and review, and this one was a stinker.
I have to wholeheartedly agree on the stinker.
Dude,
An episode that had so much promise at the beginning of the episode turned into a absolute snooze fest with no real big developments and, quite frankly, just a lack of overall content.
Yeah, it was definitely a slug of an episode. Like you said, beginning of the episode, it starts off pretty good. You got a good pace. Feels like we're gonna get a lot, and then I would say probably 15 minutes in, maybe not even that long, all the development stops. It's like boom, and it just like hits a wall.
Yeah, we went from actual content to filler like really quickly.
Wow.
And it's a shame is that the beginning of the episode was like, there was so much promise there. You were just like, okay, this is a cool concept. Mm-hmm. Let's see if they roll with this. And then they were just like,
yeah, they could have shown a lot more than what they did. Just a slow episode from the beginning. And it was just like, it was not what I was expecting. Now we were going to get this episode, like you said before the episode to me, there was going to be some people showing up and some things happening. And I was waiting for it, and then even when that happened, it didn't deliver the way I thought it was going to.
Oh yeah, it was definitely like a letdown. I was like, oh, there's this character, and all of a sudden I was like,
first appearance of this character, yes, and then I was like, okay, it's like okay, it wasn't as
literally
cool
just it reaffirmed what we've already known about this character.
Yeah,
it's kind of a disappointment. Yeah, it's me.
Definitely a disappointment. But I mean, dude, it's another episode down, I guess. We're getting closer and closer to our finale.
Yeah, we got 4 episodes left of the season.
I mean, what are you going to do? You're close. We're getting closer to the finale. 4 episodes left, like you said. 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, I mean, this right now, for all you House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones fans, I mean, Jason's never watched either or, but right now this episode's giving me like that House of the Dragon vibes where we're getting all this build-up, all this storytelling for a failure of a Penny Ultimate episode. And that's essentially what House of the Dragon delivered, and I think that's what we're building to. Because we're just, like, outside of the one raid on the garrison, we're just not getting any of the action we're looking for in a Star Wars film or a Star Wars series. I mean, like, if you break down like all the other, like, shows, right? Mando, Boba Fett, all essentially just had at least some form of action
in every episode. Everyone.
Including great storytelling, great character arc, and this world building.
And character direction, not just arcs.
We're not getting that. We're just getting filler and filler and filler.
And I mean, like we knew going into this series that it was going to be tough to do this series right, because we have a character in Andor who there's not really much development for his character. He's kind of a scumbag who's kind of a good guy, just like Han Solo when he dies. And so it's like you can't really get lower than that. So like, how do you build up to that, or how do you break him down from this pedestal and then to that, and get him in that mindset? And they didn't do either one of those things. They didn't put him in like the absolute shit, and they didn't put him on a pedestal to knock him down to that level where he is in Rogue One. So we kind of knew going into the series that it was going to be difficult to build an intriguing character on him. And, I mean, here we are, more than halfway through the series now. And it's like becoming a struggle to watch and stay. I mean, you fell asleep last episode a little bit.
Oh, I definitely nodded off last episode.
This episode 100%. Is like intriguing, and it died.
I stayed awake for this one.
Yeah, it was like... And I think it was because it had that fast start.
Yeah.
And then it just was like, you're waiting for it to pick back up the whole episode, and it just never does. And it was like kind of a letdown because, like you said, we see this character show up, and boom, we're like, yes, we're going to get some good stuff. And then nothing happens. And then we go back to another scene, and this episode ends. It was just like, really like, what the heck, man?
the episode just kind of ended really abruptly. Like there was no like like episodes like lead up to like the conclusion of the episode. This one just kind of like, and Andor's done this almost the entire
Yeah, the entire series.
series. Like just the episodes just end on like a letdown or like a just kind of randomly end. Like they're like this should have been one giant movie or one giant like series that should be watched at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like connection and there's building, but it's just like all of a sudden just poof, gone, done.
Yeah, it's like the only episodes that build to each other were, I feel like, 4, 5, and 6. Or
Yeah,
4,
they
5,
felt
and
they
then
felt like
6.
actual continuity. Like there was actually storytelling going on during that.
Yeah, 4 to 6 feels like it could be watched as a full, back to back
Yeah,
to back,
like,
and you get a good story.
I kind of think that what we hinted on last episode, where like each one of these 3 episodes is its own arc.
Yeah, I've abandoned that theory.
Here's the thing, I did not, but I'm going to modify it. 1, 2, and 3 were its own arc. 4, 5, and 6 were its own arc, and I think these back 6 are going to be their own story.
arc. I was just going to say that exact thing.
Based off of what we see in this episode, there's no way Cassian's current trilogy ends next episode, unless it's ridiculously fast paced and things develop extremely quickly. But unfortunately, as we'll talk about, it doesn't look like that's the way we're going to go here.
Yeah, we definitely didn't see any hints to that in this episode or the one before either. It was just really like dragging along, and you're just kind of seeing like nothing happening. Even when they're showing stuff, still nothing happening. And again, like we've had episodes where like we watched the episode and we didn't think anything was happening. Went back and read the recap. We looked at any other Easter eggs, and we found some stuff to talk about. We did it for this episode the same way we do it, and there was nothing to talk about. There was nothing hidden in the background. There was nothing being shown.
Yeah, like I went over my
like,
notes. You went over your notes. We compared and contrasted. We're like, we have nothing.
And like we go on different websites and we look at, is there Easter eggs? Is there stuff we missed maybe? And there just wasn't anything. Like they're talking about like stuff that has nothing to even do with the show. Just overall letdown of an episode. I mean, it's like there's not even that much to really break down. Like.
Yeah, I mean, the episode starts off with, obviously, Cassian at this processing facility.
Yeah.
He's going through, trying to get, they're going through a checkpoint. They send him to, what was it, Nassian 5?
Nasima 5?
Nasima 5. By the way, this episode we saw a lot more planets than I think we've ever seen in a single episode. I think we saw they were on like at least 6 different planets. Today.
Yeah, we saw a lot of variation in the planets.
Yeah, we saw Cassian,
where they were.
Moelina, Fessia, God damn it, Fessir, I can't remember. Ferris, thank you, Jesus. Naslina 5,
Coruscant.
We bounce around a lot, but so he gets out. He's in this checking facility.
Narkina 5.
Narkina, thank you, Narkina 5. So they send him to what? They send him through like a little checkpoint. Then they take him to. They get on the ship. They have these really cool like magnetic. Arm restraints. They're restrained to the thing. They quickly just kind of chit chat. They land on this planet, this giant water planet. Looks like.
Yeah, kind of similar to Camino, but they kind of land at a prison complex that's similar to.
Yeah, but there was like
Marvel.
some land masses in the background, but mostly it looked like a lot of water.
There was an island there, I think.
Yeah, it was a lot of water. And there was multiple platforms, and this is important because. We see kind of an inside look in the prison during like a chow time or something, or whatever they were up to.
I think they were like transporting them to like their.
But we saw like 10 to 15 different hallways in this one thing, and there was at least 10 more colonies that we saw like when they were initially landing.
Mm-hmm.
So like this looks like a giant penal colony, something that like the British used Australia for back in the early 1700s.
Yeah.
But it's really cool just to see. Not really cool. It sucks for the residents of the Empire, but how big the Empire penal colony and penal system really is. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, the prison reminds me of what the Raft looks like in Marvel. If you guys know Marvel, the Raft is a prison that they put, basically
in the middle of the ocean.
The biggest criminals they can in the middle of the ocean, because what are you gonna do? You escape. What are you gonna do? Unless you can fly, you're stuck. But he goes to this. Basically, as the Empire does, just giant, shiny, white hell. And everything is white. I mean, from top to bottom, what they're wearing, except for
The
the
uniform,
guards.
their work area, the hallways,
hmm
their recreational quarters, their rooms.
I mean,
Everything
everything
was white.
is white with splashes of tiny little color here and there. But this prison is the shit. It is
Oh yeah.
technologically advanced.
We found out very early on that these prisoners, these guards, did not need guns to keep these guys in place.
No, they said they even said it literally. They said at the beginning of the episode, they're like, we don't need guns to come up to you because we can do this, and then they just like press a button, and these dudes just start like spazzing out on the floor.
Yeah, look like they're all having simultaneous seizures and drop to the floor.
It's kind of wild. And they appear to also be like stuck in that position that they're in, no matter what they are. It's
It
crazy.
didn't look comfortable
It did not.
or pleasant.
They looked,
by any
and they were
stretch.
screaming, so they're obviously in pain. And they did say that was only level 1 of 3 different levels of shock. So
Which I think we see level 3 later in the episode.
I agree. I think we do see that.
Little spoiler alert there, but
But then he gets transferred down a little further into the prison, where he gets assigned to kind of his role in the prison. He's gonna be building parts for something.
yeah, you specified you thought it was like the part of the TIE fighter wing.
Yeah, so it looks like the pieces that connect like the fins of the TIE fighter
To the
wing.
core of the
Yeah, to the core. It
spacecraft.
looks like that's what they were, because they had that same like 6-pronged.
I mean, it would make
Look,
sense because
You
know
need
each
1,000,
TIE
though.
fighter,
Gets 2.
like each TIE fighter needs 2 of them,
Mhm.
right? A single Star Destroyer holds over, I don't know, like 1,000 TIE fighters, and there's thousands of Star Destroyers
And then there's Super
thousands.
Star Destroyers.
Yeah,
And then there's a Death Star that holds probably millions of TIE
then
fighters, to
there's
be honest.
millions of bases across the galaxy,
That
Imperial
all have
bases,
5, 10, 20.
random space stations that have multiple.
Yeah, they're gonna need probably billions of these little pieces, and to see that there's also 7 of these groups in the room with 7 people around, and there is 7 colonies per raft, and then there is probably, I would say, going with the theme, 7 rafts. Just kind of crazy to think that all of this work just to get one part. Wouldn't surprise me on the Empire's part, though. They are all about size, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Forgive me.
You're
A
good.
Star Destroyer holds 48 TIE fighters.
Okay, even still, 48
Yes.
TIE fighters. That means that you need to have 96. Sorry, bad math. Wait, no, that's good
Yeah,
math.
that's good math.
That's
That's
good
good
math.
math. Yeah, 96.
You need 96 of these parts per Star Destroyer. Well, there's, probably thousands of Star Destroyers, like you said, thousands of bases, and then there is also light cruisers that hold TIE fighters. There's also Super Star Destroyers, Death Star.
Yeah, there was over 25,000 Star Destroyers at
Yeah.
the peak of the Empire.
So imagine you need 96 of these parts for 25,000 of them, plus probably 25,000 bases, plus
Not
probably
including the 7 Super Star Destroyers they had.
7 Super Stars, probably 50,000 light cruisers that also have
A small detachment.
5 or 10,
Yeah.
maybe. We're just talking millions of these parts, and it wouldn't surprise me, like I said, the scale of the Empire, they would make people build a lot of them. But basically, that's all they're doing. They're building these things. His boss is actually going to be Andy Serkis. His name is Kino Loy. He's the prison unit manager for just that one.
Block 5.
That one room, 5B or something like that.
5D, I think it was 5D.
Let me see if I can pull it up here. It doesn't look like they name what sector, but he's only managing one of the rooms, one of the 7 rooms, and he is the manager of those 7 tables, which all have 7 people. So he's a manager of 49 people in his room, and they compete basically against other rooms, and whoever loses gets shocked at that level 1, I would assume.
Yeah, even individual tables get shocked per room.
Yeah,
the
so
worst performing table.
If you're the losing table at your room, you get shocked. And then if you're the losing room, your room gets shocked. So you will get shocked twice if you're the
And if
losing.
you're the worst room and the worst table, you'll get shocked twice.
Yeah, it's It's rough. That's rough for you, man.
And it doesn't, like I said, it's not a very pleasant shocking. It looks
Yeah,
like.
no, this is a very painful. And they did get shocked the first day that he was there. So he got shocked
Yeah.
on arrival. He got shocked because his table lost, and then he got shocked again because I believe his room also.
Yeah, because his table was
lost.
his
Table
table was
5.
down a man,
Yeah, they were down a man the
They
whole
were-
day until he got there.
and
So-
obviously they have the old. You know, there was an old man. and
Two
the
old men,
man.
it
The old
looked
man's
like.
struggling.
Yeah, the one old man was definitely struggling.
Yeah, I'm surprised he could barely get one of the wrenches up.
I'm
That was,
surprised
that
he
was
could
pretty, pretty bad.
hold him, you know. But then he meets somebody named Melshi, who apparently is an ally with Cassian in Rogue One, which is going to be 5 years from now. And he's the one who tells him anyone who thinks they are getting out of here now is dreaming. Those days are over.
Yeah, he dies on Scarif when the when the stormtrooper throws the thermite grenade into the Imperial cruiser.
Okay.
They all die. Both him and the original creator of the Rogue One call sign die
Okay.
while in that plane.
And then-
Unfortunate. Rest in peace.
Again, there was some filler here, like back and forth. There was, just some like random stuff that this episode was really bouncy. Like it really bounced around, and that's one thing I think that's one thing that takes us out of this show is that it bounces around so much.
Well,
In-
you got to think, right? In the first 15 minutes of the episode, we're progressing Cassian's storyline. We're trying to push Deidre's storyline, Cyril's storyline. We're trying to push
my mouth.
Mon Mothma's storyline, Brix's storyline, Bix.
Bix.
I always-
Bix.
I always forget her fucking name.
You're not great with names.
No, I'm
I mean,
terrible
I'm
with
not
names.
great either, but you're worse than me.
Bix, Luthen. I mean, there's
Somebody
the
else. There's
Cassian's mom. You know,
Yeah,
the
and then-
mechanic from the original series trilogy, the
It's just like-
the series
It's
episodes.
so difficult to try and progress that many storylines at once and keep it intriguing for every storyline.
Yeah, I mean they try to like make the scenes quick and impactful, which they do, but impactful in the moment, no. Impactful maybe 2 episodes from now, yes.
Yeah, like
You know-
the small conversations might be important later, but as of right now, those conversations, we're writing them off as meaning absolutely nothing. And we're probably not going to remember them in 2 episodes.
Yeah, I mean we have Deidre pulls Cyril out of his cubby hole, takes him
Yeah.
to an investigation chamber, like, hey,
Very
listen,
boring
is your
job.
report legit? He says no, because I was forced to sign it.
Yeah,
She adds some small details. He wants to join the Empire. She says fuck off.
yeah, he basically kept putting in these requests for
Like
information
yeah.
about Cassian. He's put in 5 false requests.
6.
6 by the time that,
Yeah, as
that
of
he
that
puts one
morning,
in that
yes.
morning. Yeah, and so she says you put in 5 reports. He corrects her. He says no, I put in 6. She said I wasn't counting this morning, and so he's still out there looking for Cassian, which that's I guess a progression of his storyline. But we already kind of knew this. We knew he already had this obsession with Cassian.
Yeah, literally as soon as episode 2, we knew that this guy was going to be a major part in trying to find Cassian, which
Yeah, it was just.
is like painfully obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that like you need to tell us that, because if you have a younger audience who maybe doesn't have the implication skills, maybe, but this show I don't think is aimed at a younger audience. Like obviously
No.
it's still Star Wars, but this is a political espionage thriller. It's not meant for kids, and it doesn't hold the values that every other Star Wars story
I
holds.
mean, especially when they're showing butts.
Yeah, I mean they're showing ass.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Disney Plus showing ass.
And you see Bix, in episode
sex.
1 or episode 2,
Yeah.
she's like being
Well,
all seductive
I
to her
mean,
husband.
she really didn't have. I mean, they were boyfriend.
they were
girlfriend.
going to.
I
Like
mean,
that was
I mean,
the
they
implication.
didn't actually have sex on screen, but it was implied they
Yeah,
had
it was
sex.
heavily. He crawls into bed like naked, basically.
Yeah, that's true.
She takes her bra off, and you see her entire bare back, which
Yeah,
typically
we,
in any show means they're about to get it on.
and we get a room full of naked men,
they're about
see
to
their
put
asses.
Marvin Gaye on. You know what I mean?
And we get a bunch of men's asses in the showers at the prison.
Yeah, they get a Nazi-style bath.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy.
Yeah, that was definitely weird. Definitely. I mean, but I think that was kind of the point.
Yeah, I was
to
getting
show.
some like Schindler's List vibes.
Yeah,
wasn't really a
I think it
fan.
was definitely the point of that scene. But then we get our long-awaited first appearance for this show.
As we mentioned earlier, this is the character we're speaking of.
Yeah, of Saul Guerrera, which we've been waiting to see. We love Forrest Whitaker. We love the character. Um, he talks with Luthen about these parts, and he says, "Listen, if you want to buy these parts, you basically have to talk to this."
He wanted him to team up with another rebel leader.
Yeah, a different rebel
to
leader.
attack a space station that had vulnerabilities.
And
but Saul Guerrero was
nah.
yeah, he was like, fuck off. He was like, I work alone. I only work with this. I'm not risking my people for somebody else's mission. We have no deal. Kind of pushes more of extremist views.
Yeah, he in the Star Wars galaxy, there's a lot of different, I guess, political approaches, and the Separatists being one of them. I believe, Saul is characterized. I forget what he's characterized as, but I thought he was a Separatist, or not a Separatist. He was I forget. I can't place it.
This one, buddy.
What happened?
Said you're on your own for this.
Yeah, I can't place it. But then there's Neo-Republicans, which is basically kind of this what they estimate to be Mon Mothma's approach. The Gorman Front, the Partisan Alliance, the Sectorists, and then the Human Cultists, as well as the Galaxy Partitionists. So there's a lot of different approaches, and I think that this guy was a Separatist. I think that's what he was saying, and he's not going to work with a guy who's a Separatist, because he hated Separatists. He fought the Clone Wars against the Separatists, so he does not like them, and he refuses to be in alliance with them, because I guess he holds this lifelong grudge with them, and he just doesn't understand that pulling everybody together, whether you have a different view or not, is what the Rebel Alliance needs.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Saul Guerrero will never see that come to fruition.
He will never see the Rebel Alliance come to its
But
big peak.
What Saul Guerrero did have was a black squadron of X-Wings.
Oh, I was just going to get to that,
which
yeah.
was super cool to see, by the way.
Yeah, we also get a glimpse of a character named Benthic Two Tubes. He is a mercenary that we see capture the guy in Rogue One, who they would eventually torture information out of. So, yeah, he's seen overlooking the base, kind of standing lookout, and that's when we also see, like you said, the Black Squadron of prototype. They were confirmed. Those are the first versions of X-Wings. They're prototypes, which is kind of awesome to see them in that early stage, and maybe we'll get to see them fly in this show a little bit. I hope.
I mean, I've never heard of Black Squadron, so
they're sexy. Those were some beautiful. They were black and gray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
You've heard of Red Squadron, you've heard of yellow and blue,
And orange.
but have you heard of black?
And then, like I said, you said Deidre sat down Cyril, and they talked in the ISB on Coruscant. And, like you said, there's not really much that happens in that conversation other than, she gets the information she wants. He tries to say, let me on the Empire. She says no.
Yeah, she was like, fuck off.
And then threatens him, and he's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, we don't need you. Have a nice day.
And then, it just ends right there. It's like just an abrupt ending to, what we were building to a story between them two.
Yeah, the only other interaction we have with Deja the rest of that episode is we have the scene where they're sitting at ISB headquarters. They're at the round table discussing how the Imperials want to recognize as a bigger rebel threat, but they still don't feel like they have enough evidence for it.
Yeah.
Until the one, her immediate supervisor, the major, was like, hey, listen, there's actually something going on. And that's when
Yularen
finally
says,
was like, okay, let's get some more information on this.
Show me. If you believe it, show me. You need to prove it to me. But when she was explaining to him, he was like, nah, you're asking for too much shit right now. You're asking for all these resources that we don't have. Until, like you said, her boss says, yeah, we're gonna do this. And then he's kind of like, okay, we'll do it. Yeah,
and then the other moment we get with Deidre is the one I think will be probably heavily talked about amongst Star Wars fans and the Reddit, is her and in the torture room with Bix.
Yeah, when she finally, that was actually the next.
Yes.
Next point's coming up.
So, obviously, Deidre's on Ferris.
It's actually Ferrix. It's
Ferrix.
Ferrix.
All right, so ferrets.
Yeah.
Like ferrets, like the animal. Ferrets.
Ferrex.
Ferrets.
No, with an X at the end.
Yeah, but you
not
mean
TS.
it's like ferrets.
Maybe if you
But
want to say it
yeah,
that way.
exactly. It's easy. It's easy to remember. Ferrets.
Oh man.
Ferrets. Ferrets. Yeah, it's easy.
Close
to,
enough.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, so obviously Deidre's on Ferrex, and she's obviously earlier in the episode, Bix sends out a signal trying to get a hold of Luthen to ask about essentially where's Cassian.
Mm-hmm. She's worried about him.
Because Cassian's mom is ill.
Yes,
You know,
very
she was
ill, cold
rambling
and sick.
rambling. Legs hurt, back hurts. You know, the robot's like, yeah, the doctor was here.
She hurt her knee or
Hurt
something.
her knee. Yeah, she fell. They had to carry her back to her house. So obviously Bix is worried about Cassian's mom. So she tries to send out a signal. Luthen try to search for Cassian, which obviously we can kind of guess that the Imperials were kind of monitoring these frequencies. Find out that, you know, only one tower probably in that area was enough to send that signal out. Finds out who the owner is, which was the gentleman we usually see being tortured. And then they pull Bix out of the crowd, bring her in for interrogation, and who knows what's going to happen next. But Deidre and Bix are going to mix it up in that interrogation room.
Yeah, it's she looms over Bix, ready to interrogate her and kind of lay into her to find out everything she can about Cassian. Be interesting to see if we actually see any of that, because we know, like it says, Disney, are they going to let us see torture? I don't know. After this, that Caesar, Jesus Christ. Dude, it got me there. That Caesar scene. There's a lot of S's there, dude. A lot of S noise.
I thought you were trying to say Caesar for the shower, and I was like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh shit.
I was like, yeah, are you having a fucking Caesar?
I'm having a fucking Caesar over here. But yeah, so after seeing that, maybe they will show us a little torture scene.
I mean, we're getting sex scenes, we're getting ass cracks,
dude. I mean, might as well throw it in there.
Seizures, might as well get a little torture in there,
Yeah, we're getting a little tension between the lesbian lovers.
Yo, yes,
dude.
Yes.
Could go somewhere.
Little steamy session there. Little hand holding in the cafe.
Yeah, but so Vel and Cinta are also both, as well as Deidre, Bix, the mom, and the best friend are all on Ferrex at the same time.
The best friend is the giant bulk guy, by the way.
Yeah.
We don't actually know his name. I do apologize.
It's probably in here somewhere, but it's not that important to know his name.
Not right now, anyway.
He's the giant dude. He's kind of hard to mix.
Imagine the mountain from Game of Thrones in Star Wars. That's him.
Yeah, he's giant. Don't forget him. I actually really love his character. I wish they would do a little more with him. But yeah, so Cinta and Vel are kind of watching over Cassian's house, and
yeah, they're kind of looking over Bix, and they're looking at the big guy, looking at the radio, looking at the mom, trying to figure out where Cassian is, thinking that he took the money and went back home. Little do they know he's currently sitting in a prison.
Little do they know he went home and then dipped. Not much later, and that's the episode.
Yeah, and obviously, Val's trying to take Cinta back to her room, and Cinta's like, "Yeah, listen, mission first."
Yeah, she's like, "No, we're not having sex. No."
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know we're not hanging out with the goats anymore, but
yeah, we're not, out in the middle of nowhere where you can scream all loud. You gotta be quiet up here. We're in an apartment now, in a hotel.
Yeah, with the Imperials sitting right across the street.
Yeah, really. But like I said, we got this. This was an episode that was. I wouldn't even say it was difficult to get through. It was just so slow.
Yeah, I think slow is probably just like an understatement. I think the first 15 minutes are great. Then we just had too much jumping around. We're transitioning from scene to scene, person to person. We're getting like 13 different perspectives of the same event. And it kind of reminded me of Vantage Point, the movie back in the day, where like you're getting like the recollection of just the same events from different angles. And I'm like, how much more repetitive can we get with this? Like, just progress the storyline.
And like some shows and movies can do that well. Like when you watch Interstellar, they do that beautifully. I mean, obviously it serves the story in that story. When he's behind the bookshelf and he sees himself as a kid, you saw that earlier in the movie or whatever, and like that serves the story so well. And it's like Harry Potter does this really well as well. Which one was that? third one, Prisoner. I think it does it in Prisoner
Well,
with
like
the time turner. They
like,
do that really well.
Well, here's what they do. Like they get all the characters together first. All the characters are together in one central location first. Then when they split up, then they tell different perspectives.
Yeah.
We're getting 17 different perspectives before these people have all came together.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to expect us to jump around and find it. Like Game of Thrones, like how Game of Thrones did it, right? All the major characters were together at one point, right? All the Starks were together. All the Lannisters were together. Then they split them up across the 8 seasons, but they were together, so there was a connection. There was a story for you to build off of, and this series just isn't doing it. So you're kind of like trying to put your feet in each person's shoes as they're going through it, and you just can't connect with the character.
Yeah, it's difficult, like you said, to connect with the character when you're jumping back and forth. Like as soon as you're starting to feel a connection with Cassian, right in that prison. We're 10 minutes in the episode. It's starting to like, okay, Cassian's going through some shit. It just abruptly cuts on a scene and goes to a different scene that's Mon Mothma just talking. And it's like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah, Mon Mothma's scenes in this episode were dreadful. There was no
The past 2 episodes have been
relative
dreadful.
information out of there. And then
It's
you
just
bounce from Mon Mothma to Luthen, to ferrets. I said ferrets intentionally there.
It's like, dude, I wanna love Mon Mothma's character. I want to love her portrayal in this series, but it's not giving me where I want it. I want to see her in the Senate going at it. Like, I don't want to see her in the backgrounds talking. I want to see her going at the Senate and going at Palpatine publicly, and then also in the background doing the little sly stuff that she has to do to build the rebellion. But doing what she can in the Senate as well to show, like, hey, you're not going to keep passing this shit that's clearly unethical and, immoral.
Yeah, like we only gotten one scene in the Senate, and everyone's distracted about the rebellion attack. And outside of that, it's just been all third-party conversation, like, oh, this happened in the Senate, this happened in the Senate.
It's been
We're not getting any of that.
It's been a lot of telling, and this is a big thing that Disney does with every show, and it drives me insane. They tell us, they don't show us. They need to learn how to balance those two things because showing us is a lot more impactful than telling us. And I think one of the Marvel series that came out did the same thing. I forget which one it was. But they were telling us stuff. I want to see it. Show me it. Show me what the hell is going on. I don't care. Show me. Stop telling me shit.
Yeah, I think you got a little bit of that in Hawkeye. You got a lot of that in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
She-Hulk is really bad for it. She-Hulk's just a bad series altogether.
I don't even know if it was bad. It was just like it was meh. It was really meh to me, but
It was bad.
I can see why people would think it was bad. I wasn't as bothered by it as a lot of people were.
Like,
I thought Miss Marvel was bad.
Could you imagine them telling us WandaVision, the first 5 episodes?
Bro, that shit was slow. That was a slow ass show.
Like, can you imagine telling, oh yeah, Wanda created this whole fake town with her fake kids, and that's why she's pissed off at the world.
Yo, that show was slow in the
Instead
beginning.
of showing us all the things that Wanda went through and why she feels the way she feels.
Yeah.
Imagine her trying to take that book and kill everybody based off of Disney going, oh yeah, Wanda created this fake town. It was crazy.
That's another show that does it really well that we were just talking about. They show the same event from different perspectives very well.
Yeah,
they show it from Wanda's.
Yep, outside. They
show it from the government, and then her friends outside of the government, but with the government. Like, it does it really well. And this show, Andor, is not doing that well. It's
not at all.
So everything feels disconnected, even when there's people in the same vicinity. Like, it feels so disconnected, and it's just, it's underwhelming. Like. It kind of exhausts me to talk about it because it's like, we're not getting anywhere. Like, what has really happened since the Garrison attack?
Nothing.
Cassian's still on the run. He was put in prison. That's what happened.
Okay, yeah, we had 2 episodes to tell us Cassian went to prison.
Pretty much. Nothing else has happened with the rebellion. No progression with that. There's been no progression with Mon Mothma's character in the Senate. There's been no progression with the Empire as a whole. There's been no progression towards catching Cassian, the people that are trying to catch him, not just the Empire in general.
Yeah, the Empire just going, hey, you look like you're part of this suspicious activity. Now you're going to be in 6 years in jail.
It's like, I've watched 2 episodes of the same shit. it's them just talking.
It's 2 episodes of filler.
And
That's what.
It's so rough to try and sit through episode after episode of the same thing. And like, how many episodes left? 4?
4. We had 9, 10, 11, 12.
Dude, this has really got to pick up. And like, I've heard, obviously, when the show first came out or before it came out, they were talking. This show's gonna be slow. It's not gonna cater to the normal fan of Star Wars. But like, it's a Star Wars.
Here's the thing,
show,
though, right? All the critics are saying this is the best Star Wars show out there. This is the craziest show out there.
Yeah.
Through 8 episodes, this is far from the best Star Wars show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Very far from it.
This doesn't, this can't touch the Mandalorian with a 100-foot pole.
No,
I mean,
season 1 Mando was absolutely cracked.
dude, it was insane.
Absolutely cracked. And then season 2 was even more cracked. We get Ahsoka. We get Luke Skywalker.
Dude, so much good shit.
We learned more about
Boba.
Grogu. Even Boba Fett progressed Mando's storyline even better.
It was just like this show. Like, think about this, right? I want everybody to stop for a second and just think about this.
Even Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was insane.
Yeah. Compared to this, yeah. Right? Think about this, right? Do you see anybody out there in the real world with Andor merch, with Andor anything? No. When Mando came out, dude, every single other car on the road had a Baby Yoda sticker, had a Mandalorian sticker, had a Mandalorian backpack, had a Mandalorian phone case, had a Baby Yoda, fucking window cover. Like,
a new episode
dude.
of Mando hasn't come out in like 2 years, and there's still Mando and Grogu merch everywhere.
Dude, it's everywhere. You go into Walmart or Target, the only thing in the Star Wars aisles, like toys, is Mando stuff.
Yeah,
and like a splash of Book of Boba Fett.
Even in we're starting Lego Star Wars, big Grogu Mando helmet.
Dude,
the new Ultimate Collection Lego series is the God, I can't remember the fucking name of his Razor Crest.
Oh yeah, dude, that thing's fire.
That thing is fire.
Like, this show is not what it should be.
It's not. It's not a. And I hope Disney realizes this. This is not a profitable series for them. They can't merchandise off of this. They can't
merchandise a single thing.
There's nothing to merchandise.
The only
there's
thing.
nothing. There's nothing.
No, there's one thing.
What?
The eye.
The eye.
You could sell a phone case of the eye. That's about it. I wouldn't buy it, but you could.
I'm sorry. There's 2 things: the eye and the droid.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you the droid. The droid you could definitely merchandise.
The droid's cool.
But other than that,
there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing.
There's
I got nothing.
not a thing that I've seen that I'm
maybe
like,
condoms.
Oh my god, what?
Condoms.
Condoms. Big's condoms. Oh man, but like, dude, it's serious. Like, seriously, like what has this series got for it? Like,
I mean, I really hope the critics are right, and like these last 3 episodes, these last 4 episodes, just like absolutely blow my mind.
I want to knock my socks off.
I don't see it. I don't see it coming.
For me, it's like it just doesn't have the magic of Star Wars in it. It just doesn't. Like, and I understand that it's not really supposed to, but like, dude, you're telling a Star Wars story. Like, even Rogue One, it didn't really have the Force. It didn't have lightsabers other than a couple scenes with Vader.
At the very end.
It didn't have, and it still told a better story than any of the sequels. It still told a better story than almost any other Disney project from Star Wars.
Did I tell you I rewatched Rise of Skywalker today?
Did you?
I did. My grandfather put it on,
and
I watched it, and I fell asleep in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember why I hate this movie.
It's like, dude, Disney just they have some bangers, like they do, like they have some bangers, like season 7 Clone Wars banger, Rebels pretty damn good, because that was always on Disney XD, so that was always Disney. That was a banger, like that show is a banger. I'm not gonna lie. Mando, amazing. Book of Boba Fett, pretty good. Obi-Wan, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Tales of the Jedi just came out. I watched the first 2 episodes. So far, pretty good.
I mean, all their animated stuff has been always really decent.
It's always been fire, dude.
Yeah.
Always. It's Dave. It's the magic of Dave Filoni. Guess who's not on this series? Dave Filoni.
You can see it.
I mean, he is, but he's not. Like,
He doesn't have creative control over it.
Yeah, he's not. He's the executive producer. I'm pretty sure.
Executive producer means advisor.
He's throwing
That's
the
all.
money. That's what he's doing.
He's like, yeah, maybe you should do this, but you can't. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, and the problem is that look at anything that Filoni and Favreau have done, and it's great. Even Deborah Chow, great.
Here's the thing. What I think this series is actually doing. I think it's ruining the character of Cassian Andor.
On purpose?
No, not on purpose. I think it's just like I would be perfectly okay with his redemption arc in Rogue One, where he was like, I'm just a spy, and then when it comes time to like push comes to shove, he's like, here's your 20 good men, let's go fuck this shit
Right,
up.
when it's fight or flight, he's like, fuck it, we're fighting. Like, all right,
Yeah,
cool.
now I get this. I don't know. I don't recognize this Cassian Andor.
I just don't.
And nothing in this series is building to the Cassian Andor we found in Rogue One.
Story's just not appealing. Like, you could have ended it with the eye. And just had him be, like, rich, and then, like, he joins the rebellion somehow.
Honestly, I think them.
That would have been fine for me.
I think him killing off, Skeen, and then just dipping on Val was probably the worst decision for his character. Like if they would have changed that and he didn't kill Skeen and he stays with Val and he goes back to Luthen with this money, then I think
could end the series.
You could end the series right there.
You could have just stopped it.
You could have went so much more detailed into the Garrison attack and a whole bunch of other things. But now they're going this whole other route that just like I don't see the end game.
Not at all. It's just so underwhelming. Like what I hear, I'm hearing a lot of great.
Yeah, like 10 out of 10, best Star Wars series ever.
I'm watching people in the subreddit, like the Star Wars subreddit, and I watch people on Twitter, and then I see like these reviews coming out on I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I'm seeing these things that Disney and Star Wars are posting, and it's like they're posting the reviews and stuff like on their story. 10 out of 10. Best Star Wars story since the originals. Amazing, storytelling. And I'm sitting here watching it going, what the hell are these people looking at?
Like I said, unless these last 4 episodes are absolutely knock my socks off, I don't see where this amazing storytelling's coming from.
Not at all.
Because it's just not there.
I'm getting to that point with like the show. Like if this was a Marvel show, right, and if we weren't doing a podcast on it, it would not be a priority to watch it on Wednesdays. Like I'd watch it when I had time.
Yeah, I could be grinding into Masters right now on Apex instead, providing this content.
Like
over
honestly,
a show that's dreadfully bad.
Like honestly, dude, like I still haven't finished Miss Marvel. I wasn't that into it. I know you love that series. A lot of people did.
No, I didn't. Let's clarify. I didn't love it. If I had to rank it, I would say it's above She-Hulk. Visually, it's very appealing. The CGI is really well done compared to She-Hulk. And I think it progressed a story. But knowing, again, with Marvel, you're progressing a story to introduce to a bigger story. And seeing what they have planned for Phase 5 and 6, it makes sense with the direction they went.
Yeah. Like I said, I never finished it, so I don't even, I just wasn't that into that series, and I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean,
why?
What it was doing? It's building towards the new Avengers.
Yeah,
I mean, you see the new Hawkeye,
and
you see like Miss Marvel, you see She-Hulk, and Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was great.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm just kind of like, and then we were obviously Black Panther coming out in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, I think I have tickets.
Literally
for that.
a couple weeks.
I have tickets for that. I think. Yeah, I do have tickets for that.
It's just
it's like just.
Yeah, this series is really it's really a shitter. I'm not gonna lie. It's got me kind of thinking what do we do from here?
I told you they made this content just to make content.
And that's
I told you this when it was first announced. You were like, no, it's gonna be a great. I'm like,
I was like, it has, but the thing is it going in? It had the potential to go a way different way.
Well, I told you they should have built this series
on the Rebellion.
Just on the Rebellion. Sure, you can use Andor as a flashy name, but Andor, I want to see the story of Andor before he died on Scarif. Ooh.
Yeah,
and then turn into a Rebellion story, which they're trying to do, but they're still focusing too much on Andor.
Right, when they announced Andor, when they initially, I was like,
I told you. You
I was
told
like, this is trash.
No, you told me about Andor, and you were like, what are your thoughts? I was like, fucking awful.
Yeah, but
Awful decision.
I told you a while after I found out. Like
Yeah.
when I found out like day one, I'm like, Andor. I didn't even know when they announced it. I had to look up who Andor was because I was like, who the fuck is Andor? Like, I literally couldn't remember it.
And this is no ply on the actor who plays Andor.
Oh,
he
he's
does
a great actor.
job.
I love the guy, but
And obviously, if they're gonna hand you, $30 million to go shoot a couple episodes for Andor, you're gonna say 100% yes.
right, I'm gonna say yes.
But it's just the juice isn't worth the squeeze right now.
It's not.
At least not for the viewers or like the more aggressive fan base like me and Jason here.
All right, like I'm watching. For me, as a Star Wars fan, somebody who grew up with the big cinematic movies and like all of like, I'm looking for Star Wars. I'm looking for the magic of, the space battles and the lightsabers and the Force and the mythical aspect of Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's not delivering.
One of the best things about Episode 4 when it first came out was, let's be honest, nobody gave a shit about the first hour and 15 minutes of that movie.
Hell no.
The final 30 minutes where they're battling the Death Star, everyone's like, oh, shit.
Right, they're like, oh my god, they're flying these little ass planes
In
at this
space.
big ass
Like,
fucking
this is, like,
ball in
They're
the sky.
flying 12 X-Wings at this big ass base.
Right, because when you
12.
watch the Death Star blow up Alderaan, you're like, this is a legit threat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's the legit threat here in Andor? The
Wait.
Empire before the Death Star? Like,
Yeah, well, obviously they don't even have the turbo laser Star Destroyers.
they
They don't exist yet.
It's like, what are we really scared about?
We're afraid of stormtroopers.
right,
and white
who
helmets.
can't hit shots.
Who obviously can't hit a
Hit your
shot.
shot, kid. Like,
Set him to stunned.
it's just like, dude, the stakes are not set. Like, the first 6 episodes should have been setting the stakes for the rest of the series. It should have been saying, this is the clear motivation, this is what's going to happen, this is how our character now has to respond. It should have been action, reaction.
I was more afraid of droidicas and super battle droids.
Right.
I mean, could you imagine an army of droids now that the Jedi are dead? They'd be a menace. The only reason the droids lost is because of the Jedi.
And they would have won. Like let's be honest. They had They would have won. Like George Lucas said it. They would have won if it wasn't for Palpatine controlling both sides.
Yeah, there was thousands of Jedi, but there's millions upon millions upon millions of droids.
And they were cheaper to make. They were better. More precise.
We can create a battalion of droids before you could create one Jedi. Before you could train a Jedi.
Or one clone.
Yeah.
Like the clones were so expensive. The droids were cheap. They were almost as accurate.
I mean, you give me a battalion of like 15 droidicas. I'll take over a state.
Right.
15 droidicas.
Dude, droidicas, give me a couple B1s. Give me like 10 B1s.
Yeah.
5 droidicas and 3 super battle droids. I'm cool.
And like one for like my personal protection.
I'm taking over the world with that, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like DC's mine. Sorry.
Or give me, I take 20 clone troopers. One droidica can take out 20 clone troopers by itself before they take down his shield.
Dude, it's like...
Let's see, a thing with the mobility of a droidica, with a shield that can pump out the firepower, unmatched, unrivaled.
Super battle droids made... Bro, I need one tactical droid.
Dude, super battle droids can take hits from lightsabers.
Crazy,
They
right?
were tanky.
You cut their arm off, they're just like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay, I have another one. Here's my rocket cannon.
Right. Here's my double laser rocket cannon. Like, all right, bro, chill. Relax.
Even the little like stupid like regular droids.
B1 battle droids.
They would still like. But they can still hit their shots.
Right. They can hit their. They weren't. They
decimated.
They were not as accurate as the clones.
They decimated the Gungans.
But they still fucked them up. Like let's be real. They still fuck them up.
Yeah, I mean like the Gungans got absolutely massacred in episode 1.
Bro, they got entrapped in a fucking circle in like 2 seconds.
The only reason the droids lost the Battle of Geonosis was because they got caught by surprise. That's literally it.
And the only reason that they lost in episode 1 is because Darth Jar Jar and of course Darth Anakin Skywalker as a kid.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the only problem with droids. You blow up their battle station and they just
Dead.
Then again, some lucky ass shots from a ancient starfighter that wasn't supposed to be in the space in the first place.
Right. It was actually just an atmospheric ship, and now it's fucking up in
Yeah, essentially the small star destroyer.
it's up in 0 G.
Yeah, crazy what the Force does.
Dude, it's ridiculous. But
Again, again, the Force played a part as usual. A Jedi played the part.
this series just sucks. Like I hate to be overcritical. It's just like it doesn't have the mystical aspects that Star Wars is supposed to have.
Yeah, we don't have any big battles. We don't have Jedi. We don't have Sith. We don't have space battles.
Like I said, Rogue One, it didn't have the Force. It didn't have lightsabers. It didn't have really anything except for it did the fights.
You had fights. You had
Well,
space battles.
so well.
You saw the very famous AT-AT. You saw the famous tanks that the Imperials had.
Dude, like they
You know-
did the fights so well. Even like the normal gunfights on the ground were done so well.
Oh yeah, like the ambush scene in the one city was
Dude,
crazy.
so good.
And then you get obviously the Death Stars wrecking havoc on people.
It's like-
blowing up cities, blowing up more cities.
And you see how intimidating that Star Destroyer is when it's sitting over Jeddah. You don't really get that in this. Like, you see the one flyover in this show, and that's it.
Yeah, you don't see it open up its lasers.
I want
don't
to see that
it-
fucking thing sitting on top of a city, just wreaking havoc, just boom, 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 boom on a
One
city.
single Star Destroyer can take over an entire planet. They have enough air power and ground troops to take over an entire not only like city but an entire planet.
They can take over
And
a planet.
they have enough firepower. Like on my replica Star Destroyer over there, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 cannons on one side, not including what's underneath, plus the other side, plus a detachment of TIE fighters, bombers, ground personnel. Like, Star Destroyers are menacing.
Yeah.
You just never, like, all you get is, let me, this cheap trick in order to disable the Star Destroyer, and, go Rebels.
Right.
Where it's, come on.
Uh,
Come on.
This series is weak. It's weak. I'm tired of it. It better pick up. That's all I'm gonna say.
We never like if you want to feel sympathy for the rebels, you need to see the oppression of the Empire, and we're still not
They're talking about it a
getting it.
lot.
talking about it.
Oh
talking
man,
about
the
it, talking
Empire,
about
they're
it.
so oppressive.
They wiped out the Aldani. They're mining this planet
Show
dry.
me them. Show me what I saw Darth Vader fucking do in Obi-Wan. Let me see him
show me
snapping
what
kids' necks.
Show me what the First Order did in the first movie.
Right. They walk up and they start
They
slaughtering
slaughtered a whole
civilians.
village.
Bro,
a whole
like-
village. And just for Poe Dameron visiting.
Bro, like, it's just, there's no...
And the Empire was supposed to do things significantly more brutal than that.
In Episode 5, that you see them take over Hoth in like 5 minutes.
Yes,
They take over that entire base. Boom, they're in.
Yep, they had the firepower, the strength. It was crazy.
In Episode 6, they fucking capture everybody in like a matter of minutes. If it wasn't for Chewie getting the ATST, it's done. The movie's done.
Yeah, or the Ewoks, causing a quick distraction.
Right, like, dude, it's...
And then even post like Jakku, if they had their full contingent of Imperials, there was no way.
Bro, in Mando, they take over entire cities in like a matter of minutes. It's insane.
They have so many troops, the technological advantage.
I just want to see it. Like, I'm tired of hearing, oh, the Empire is so oppressive. Oh, the Empire is this. Show me the fucking Empire being this way.
I think that's just like the problem with like only showing one side of the story. Like you only show the good guys, and the good guys get lucky, and the good guys do this, that, and the third. I mean, outside of 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes of Rogue One, the Empire hasn't done a damn thing in 9 movies and 4 TV shows.
Yeah.
Not a damn thing.
I want to see them be...
That's what this whole series is supposed to be about.
I want to see them be
The
what
Empire
they talk
and
about
the
being.
Rebellion.
Like... I'm so frustrated I can't even talk.
The Clone Troopers did more work in Episode 2 than the Empire's done across 3 movies.
Yeah. I want to see more. I need to see more. We need to see it. It's not just a want at this point. Like, we are 8 episodes deep. It's no longer a want. It's a need to keep this show alive.
2 torture scenes isn't going to be enough to make me go, oh, the Empire's bad.
Right. Like, it's just not. It's just not.
Oh, but Andor is wrongfully arrested. Okay.
Okay,
So what?
cool. There's people wrongfully arrested in the U.S. every single day.
Mm-hmm.
There's thousands of people who are in jail for fucking marijuana, for having a tiny little bit because they wanted to smoke a joint to relax.
Doesn't make the United States bad.
Right, like
But
I need to see this shit. I want to see this shit happening. And it's not real, so show it.
And the problem is we're probably never gonna see it. We're not
I know,
gonna see
and
it.
that's why I'm so like frustrated. I can't even talk. I can't even get the words out.
Like I'd like to say like the Empire Strikes Back was satisfying, but the rebels made it out of Hoth.
They made it out of Hoth. They came out alive. They came out on top, almost.
Yeah.
Basically.
Even any of the episodes with the First Order, Episode 8, the rebellion somehow
comes out away.
Miraculously makes
Same
it out.
way they do in
Follows
Episode 5.
follows a fox through a hole.
Fucking ridiculous.
Are we serious?
It's like
how is everyone supposed to be afraid of this big bad empire when
you're
the
being outsmarted by
luckiest
fucking
the
animals.
the luckiest stupid shit happens? If that was the case, the empire never would have been in power to begin with.
It's just like, man, this entire series is supposed to be Empire Rebellion, and it's not.
It's just rebellion.
It's just not. It's not what it's supposed to be.
It's not even rebellion. It's just Andor and his bitches.
It's Andor, a couple girls, and a couple dudes who are obsessed with each other, and it's like
And
stupid
Mon Mothma
shit.
partying.
It's just like dumb, man. It's honestly like in 8 episodes we haven't learned anything new. There was no good new information other than the raid on the garrison, which didn't accomplish anything because nothing came from it.
Yeah, I mean
The rebellion isn't any richer. There isn't any moves being made. There isn't. He's not doing anything with his fortune.
We've talked about how much the Empire makes on a daily, yearly basis.
Right, like we know what they make.
We know that money they stole had no relevancy to the Empire whatsoever.
But it has a relevancy to the rebels, and we're still not seeing what's happening with it. It's so frustrating, man.
Unless they're trying to secretly imply that money paid for those experimental X-wings, but there's no way they bought and built them overnight.
Right.
So
It's just like, dude, I only get like this when I'm so frustrated. I just can't even talk. I can't get my words out because I don't even know how to word a sentence to voice my frustration.
It's okay, brother. There's
like,
only 4 more episodes of this dreadful show left.
And then we can talk about Tales. Then we can talk about next season of Mando and Bad Batch and all the good shit. Ahsoka, yeah.
Ahsoka.
We can talk about what's on the horizon. Oh my god, I'm just so chat,
When I buy the Razor Crest, we might just do an episode of me building the Razor Crest.
dude, it's like, oh my god.
Could do an episode about how you took 4 years to build that Dark Trooper head.
All right, listen, we're not gonna talk about that. All right, it was bad. It was a dark time.
I have the Slave 1 upstairs I have to build still.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah, I got to do the collection. Eventually, Jason here will take a picture of my Lego collection, post it for you
eventually
guys.
it'll be on the AE Podcast Instagram. Go ahead and follow it. Also follow us on Twitter. AE Podcast, you know where to find it.
Well, my friends, somehow we've been able to manage
Not
to
a full hour.
drag you guys on for almost an hour about how much we hate Andor right now. Crazy.
It's like, the frustration is just there. It's in my fucking, it's in my veins. But if you guys did enjoy it, go ahead and give us a follow, like I said, on Instagram and on Twitter. Leave us a voice message if you have anything to say about this episode or the next ones to come up.
Yeah, maybe you guys actually like Andor, and maybe you can tell us why, so we can
give
change
us
change
your
our
perspective
thoughts.
here, because
Because right now,
from our perspective, this shit sucks.
oh, it's bad. It's real bad. So if you guys like the show, let us know. Tell us what you guys like about the show, what we should maybe start looking at for different angles. Because, I mean, let's be honest, me and Jason here look at every fucking angle possible
We try
when it
to.
comes to the show to try to find something to tell you guys about, something positive. So drop us a like, comment,
difficult.
voice message. Check out the Instagram for the Lego collection. Jason's probably
And
going to
more.
post it a little later, today, whenever this episode releases. Whenever
Listen,
this
listen,
episode
listen.
releases.
Listen, you guys are getting 3 this week, all right? Just know that. You're getting 3.
Yeah, so in order for you to understand what we're talking about, you're going to have to watch 2 more hours of this.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry.
Ingest your 3 hours of AE podcast
However,
while you can.
yeah, exactly. If you have like a 4-hour drive to Ohio coming up, turn us on. Listen, listen in. We'll keep you entertained. I
If you
promise.
got a nice flight, go ahead, download the episode, and then listen to it on the flight.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
It's great, right?
I do like to listen to our episodes. Like I have a half-hour drive to work, so I do listen to our episodes in the
Really?
morning. Yeah, just like
I don't have any long drives. I never drive long. You know what I do? I might start. We'll see.
it's always good to like listen to yourself and get feedback.
Yeah. I feel like I do it so much though. Like when I'm editing, I listen to it like.
Yeah, like watching your YouTube videos last week.
Yeah, that's reminiscing though. That's different.
Was it reminiscing, or were you pissed at yourself after you left here? Because you said you were pissed at yourself.
Oh, I'm pissed at my young self. I am. But
yeah, you should go look at J Bones' prior YouTube pages.
Can't.
They're
It's
hilarious.
private, bitches.
Oh yeah, he's
now
he's
one day
fucking scared.
it will. Go
He's
into,
scared. He's scared.
Now one day it will go into an archive playlist on my channel.
They can't be any worse than my Fortnite videos on YouTube.
Bro, your front videos aren't bad though. You were actually good back then. I sucked.
Yeah, well,
That's the difference.
my content with my the gameplay was there, but nothing else was.
Yeah, no, that was it. It was just gameplay and
Yeah.
then my commentary behind
Yeah,
it.
you had my friends my friends all, like, commenting in the background because for some reason my mic was hooked up to my stream.
All right, yo. That's the first yawn. That means it's time.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Let's give him another box of popcorn. It'll be all right.
Oh, all right. We love you guys. We will see you in our next episode next week. Peace
May the
The
force be
hell
with you.
out.
May the force be with you.